Okay, hi everyone. Today we'll be doing paired peer programming, and I will be with Lucky. So I'll be a navigator and a driver at the same time as he will be. So firstly, we're gonna read the summary for lesson 25, the capstone exercise for unit 5. So in this capstone exercise, we improve the Prophetic Cuisine application by adding a few packages to make incoming data secure and more transparent to the user. With sessions and cookies installed, I'm able to use packages like passport and connect flash to share information between the server and client about a user's interaction with the Prophetic Cuisine application. I added in encryption to user passwords and two new user attributes set up by the Passport Local Mongoose plugin on the user model. With stricter validations, my custom validate action serves as middleware to filter unwanted data and make sure form data meets my scheme requirements. Last, with authentication in place, Passport offers a way to track which users are logged in to my application, allowing me to cater specific content to registered users who are actively involved. In the next unit, I will add a few features to search content within the application and in doing so, build an API on the server.
Yes,
So that is a summary.
yes. So as Sharon said, I'm lucky, and in this session, pair programming session, I will be driving Sharon. She'll be navigating, and Sharon will be driving me also, and I'll be navigating. So the first thing that we do in this lesson, this capstone exercise, is to create a login form, and our login form is found in our is it models? No, it's in views. It's found in our views in users login.ejs. As you can see here, we have this form here, and it's the method is post, so we are sending this information here from these input fields. We have an input field here for an email, and we have an input field here for a password. We send it to user slash login root, and then after creating our login form, we are going to add a login route to our main JS. And if I open our main JS here, okay, this is our login route here, and in our login route, that's basically where we're going to use this login function from our, what did I press, where is it, this login function here from our users controller module. And if I open this login function here, you see that what it does, it renders the user slash login root. And after that, this is what I just explained. We add the login action to our users controller.js, and this action renders the form for viewing on the browser. And the next step would be to add encryption with the passport.js module. And what we are going to do is that we will we'll add and configure this passport with express.js in our main.js file. So if I go to main.js here, you'll see that the first thing that we do is to, so in our main.js, what we do is we configure the cookie parser with a secret key, and the secret key is here. We use the router.use method to configure the cookie parser, and also we configure express.js to use sessions here, and then we configure express.js to initialize and use passport using this passport.initialize function within the use method of the router. And then we instruct our passport to use sessions using this passport.session function. Then we set up the default login strategy, which is the create strategy function here. And then we set up our passport to compact, encrypt, and decrypt user data using these two functions here, serialize and deserialize. And then with this configuration setup, we can move to the user model in user.js to add our passport local mongoose, and to do that we will need to require local mongoose in our user model. So if I go to models here and I go to user user.js, we have this passport local mongoose here that we imported using the require method, and we in this file we will attach the module as a plugin to our user schema. And as you can see in this listing here, 25.5, we have user schema.plugin passport local, and that's basically what we did here. Right, that's basically what we did here with the email. Let me just find the email. Yes, that's what we do here, and the username field is the email. And then after that we are going to modify the create action in users controller to use passport for registering new users, and we'll set up a flash message so that the users will know whether the account creation was successful or not. And we'll add that flash message using our custom middleware to use flash messaging in our main .js. And in our main JS we have this custom middleware. Yeah, we have this custom middleware here, and it's a little bit different from what we have in the book because we have more things to check for authentication reasons, just to authenticate the user, right? But what we do is that we use flash messages to show a flash, and then we move on to the next middleware. And the last thing I'll be driving on will be adding logic to use our flash messaging in layout.ejs. So then we go to our views here in our layout.ejs. We have this new div that we add here, and it's just going to be some logic here, an if statement to say that if we do have if this flash messages variable here evaluates to true, we are going to run this if statement here, this nested if statement, and it's going to check that within that flash messages that we do we have a success. And if we do have a success, we are going to show this div on our browser, which will be a flash message of success, and will say user created successfully. Otherwise, it's going to check whether the flash messages does it have an error, and if it's an error, it's going to tell us what the error is. And yeah, I shall now be passing on to Sharon, who will be the driver from now on.
Okay, that was perfectly explained. But you can move on. You can watch my screen. Okay, yeah. So over here, we're going to be doing listing 25.8. So we're going to be adding passport registration and flash messages in the create action. So basically, this function is basically responsible for creating action to the registered user and also responding with a flash message, especially after you have successfully created an account or if you have failed to create a user account. And then we're going to be moving over to our 25.9, whereby we're adding a validation action before creating main.js. So if I go over, I don't really want to go to my VS Code. Nah, I wanted to avoid this part. So inside of our main.js, we've got, this is so confusing. What is this again? A router post, which adds validation middleware to the user create a route. So I'm just gonna go and try identify it inside of our main.js. Mhm. Okay, routers. Guys, I'm lost.
It's towards the top, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm at the top. It's not. Oh, here it is. No, but it's not
But
complete.
you see that
Contributor.
you're in lesson 28.
Settings. You must cut out that part, right? Okay, yeah, you're right. So we've got our router. What is this again? Router post. Oof, I wasn't prepared for this. What is this? Yeah, over here, we've got our online 112, we've got our router post course create, course controller, create course controller, redirect to view. I'm not coming back here. So this is what basically what this router.post is responsible for. And then if we move over to our listing 25.10, which is adding a validation action inside of our user controller.js. So the first line of code is responsible for it adds the validate action, and later on in our function, basically there's a line that says dot equal require body dot zip code. It sanitizes the check input field data, and then if we move lower, we've got a line of code that collects errors and responds with flash messages. So which leads us to listing 25.11, whereby we are adding authentication action in user controller.js. So we add authentication middleware with a direct and flash messages option. So basically, this is responsible for adding, um, like, it should give you the passport to whether you have logged in or you have failed to log in, depending on what information you've entered into the text field. And then if we move over to our listing 25.12, we adding local variables to the respond through middleware. So the first line of code, we set up the login variable to reflect passport login status. And the second one, we set up the current user variable to reflect a login user. And then listing 25.13, we're adding a login status to our navigation bar in layout.ejs. So it's going to check whether a user is logged in, and then if the user has successfully logged in, then at if you wanna log out, this is the code that should allow you to be able to log out. Or yeah, so that's it basically for listing 25.13. Then we've got listing 25.14 where we're adding a layout action in user controller.js. So this is for our logout. So we add an action to our logout user. Wait, add an action to log users out. Yes. So after we log out, as you can see in this picture over here that is at the bottom in figure 25.1, if you have logged in, successfully logged in, then you want to log out. When you log out, when you click the log out button, you should get like a logged out um, successfully message. So I'm just going to go over to running this, both Lucky and I. But for now, I'll have to activate my MongoDB. In the meanwhile, Lucky, you can just show us how this application works.
Oh yeah, I'll just go over to my browser. Let me just close Discord. So I think my server's already running. Yes, it is. And then when we go here in our index, so let me just refresh so we get a fresh page. In our index page, as you can see, we have this is what it looks like. We have got login button here at the top, and when I click on login, it takes us to that form that we spoke about earlier, the first thing we spoke about, and it has an input field for an email and another input field for a password. And in this input field for the email, we can put I can just put my email here, and then I'll just put a password here for one of the users, and then I'm gonna click login. You see, let's just remove that. We have this flash message here that is shown to tell us that we've logged in successfully, and also it also tells us here that, just like Sharon explained, it tells us that we are logged in as this user here, and it gives us the ability to log out. And when we click log out, it shows the login button here, and as Sharon explained not long ago, we get this flash message here saying that we have been logged out. But then if I try to log in as a user, that does not exist. Alright, I can say maybe user doesn't exist.com, right, and then I can give it a password here. You see, we get this flash message here that says we failed to log in. So yeah, that is it for the functionality of this app. I don't know if Sharon, there's anything you'd like to add.
No, honestly, there's nothing. You just explained everything perfectly. It would just lengthen the video if I do it on my side as well.
Okay, thank you then. Once again, I was with Sharon today. She was the driver and the navigator, and I was also driving her and navigating her. Bye bye.
Guys, please subscribe.